A typical American city sprawls outward with highways and cul-de-sacs, but Philadelphia's DNA is frozen in a 17th-century grid, 15-foot wide parcels, dense rowhouse blocks, and a single sprawling boundary drawn in 1854. Here, walking is not nostalgia. It is necessity. Why does daily life feel so radically different here? And what did this city sacrifice to remain the opposite of everywhere else? Philadelphia's city blocks feel almost tactile, built from narrow parcels that rarely stretch beyond 20 feet. This fine-grained pattern repeats for miles, each lot carved just wide enough for a single row house, then pressed tightly against the next. The effect is a continuous street wall, a rhythm of brick and stoops that rarely breaks for driveways or front lawns. Sanborn maps from the late 1800s show these parcels as slender ribbons, typically 15 to 25 feet across, packed edge to edge. Within each block, narrow alleys thread behind the houses, providing hidden access and a network of shortcuts. These alleys rarely interrupt the main facade, so the sidewalk remains unbroken. Storefronts, stoops, and windows are always at arm's reach. This tight arrangement draws daily life out to the street, with neighbors and shopkeepers sharing the same stretch of pavement. In most American cities, single-family homes sit back from the curb, separated by lawns or driveways. In Philadelphia, the row house grid creates a dense living fabric where every step connects you to someone else's front door. In 1682, William Penn and his surveyor Thomas Holme drew a grid that ran straight from the Delaware to the Schuylkill, slicing the land into right-angled streets and planting 5 public squares across the plan. This was no patchwork of winding colonial lanes. Every block was measured with the same precision, every corner a deliberate intersection. The grid framed how the city would grow. The city's boundaries barely budged for nearly 2 centuries until the Pennsylvania legislature passed the Act of Consolidation in 1854. With a single law, Philadelphia absorbed more than 20 neighboring towns and districts, expanding to 129 square miles. At the time, this was the largest city footprint in the country. The consolidation created one government and ensured every new neighborhood was stitched into the existing grid. Streets, services, and public safety now operated on a single citywide scale. Instead of leapfrogging into farmland, development had to fit the grid's tight weave that locked in a pattern of short blocks and dense intersections, making sprawl administratively and physically difficult. The city's form, once set by Penn's plan and reinforced by consolidation, became almost impossible to unwind. The result is a built fabric that favors walking, local commerce, and strong neighborhood identity. That dense, connected fabric is the physical lock-in that still shapes how Philadelphia works. SIPDA's network threads through Philadelphia with a density that stands apart from most American cities. Trolley lines, buses, and subways all operate on a template set by the city's original grid, with routes spaced just a quarter-mile apart and stops rarely more than a 5-minute walk from any front door. GTFS data shows that over 85% of city parcels sit within a quarter mile of a transit stop, and nearly everyone in the core can reach a bus, trolley, or subway with a 10-minute walk. Planners at SEPTA maintain this mesh by refusing to thin out stops or abandon surface trolleys, even as other cities switch to wider bus spacing and cut routes. The result is a system where short headways, often 10 to 12 minutes, even off-peak, make transit a practical option for daily errands, not just a backup plan. Trolley corridors like routes 10, 11, and 13 still trace their original paths, linking dense row house blocks to the rest of the city. This close spacing is not just a holdover from the past. It is a deliberate choice that lets the grid, housing, and transit reinforce each other, making car ownership optional rather than essential. On a typical morning in South Philadelphia, the sidewalks fill before the sun is high. A corner store opens its doors, and within minutes neighbors stop in, some for coffee, some to chat, some just to say hello. The steady flow of pedestrians is not a fluke. It is the result of block after block stitched tightly together, each row house just steps from the next. For the owner behind the counter, business depends on this rhythm. There is no parking lot, just a steady parade of regulars who walk in off the street. Small groceries, barber shops, and bakeries survive on foot traffic that would be impossible in a city built for cars. Streets here are not just conduits for vehicles, they are gathering places where a daily commute might mean a stroll past 3 corner shops and a wave to familiar faces. This constant presence on the sidewalk shapes neighborhood identity, making each block feel like its own small town inside the city. Across the country, post-war metros took a different path. Instead of short blocks and narrow lots, planners carved out superblocks, sometimes stretching 1,000 feet between crossings. Streets became wider, intersections fewer, and entire neighborhoods were zoned for a single use: houses here, shopping centers there, offices somewhere else. The result, daily errands now meant long drives, not short walks. Retail withered on empty sidewalks as traffic sped by on 6-lane arterials. Vehicle miles traveled soared, while transit shrank to a lifeline for those with no other option. In these cities, the car dictated the pace, and the city's fabric stretched thin, leaving neighborhoods isolated by distance and design. Nearly half of Philadelphia's homes built before 1940 need repairs, with the average fix costing around $3,500. For many families, those costs pile up faster than help arrives. City programs like the Basic Systems Repair Program chip away at the backlog, but demand far exceeds capacity. On the city's edges, transit deserts leave some neighborhoods disconnected, complicating daily life for residents who rely on buses or trolleys. Maintaining this dense, walkable fabric requires constant investment, or the very features that set Philadelphia apart risk slipping away. As cities chase solutions to sprawl and isolation, Philadelphia's century-old grid offers a living alternative. The question now is, will others adapt, or will they keep repeating the same mistakes? Share your thoughts below.